Welcome to another episode of the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey. This is going to be a little bit of a different show. It's going to be mostly, I believe, a solo show. I might have my dad a little bit later on in the show, but it will be a solo show. Today is Tuesday. We're starting a little bit late, 2 hours late, so I apologize for that. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today was a massive show. This will be a massive show. A lot happened today. MLB news, NBA news. Anthony Davis is going off. We won't cover that, but there's a serious chance he actually has a serious push for MVP, so that'll be pretty interesting. NFL news broke today. A lot of news broke. Some developing news. Baker Mayfield was in the news today. We'll jump right into that. But let's start with the developing news right now. We're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. So Jimmy G in the game against, I believe it was Miami, he threw 4 passes. He broke his foot. And the report was that Jimmy G would be out for the entire year. It seemed like it would be a season-ending injury, and so that's why they kept what's named Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in this past year's draft. He was going to be the starter moving forward. The 49ers were in prime position to be very up. I think they're the 3 seed in the NFC right now, win the NFC West, and have a serious playoff push and hopefully go to the Super Bowl, because that defense is virtually unstoppable. And then it comes out, the report is Jimmy G won't need surgery on his foot. So that actually opens up a window for Jimmy G to come and play again this year. It would be sometime in the playoffs. But for the foreseeable future, it will be up to Brock Purdy to go and win games, or at least not lose the 49ers games. We saw Tua in this past game against the 49ers. I'm not going to say he got exposed here, but I mean, you lost to Mr. Irrelevant, the dead last pick in the draft last year, and you did not play well. You had a plethora of turnovers. Your offense couldn't get going. You overshot Jalen Waddle on a couple. You had a great throw to Tyreek Hill for a touchdown. But for most of the game, you virtually got stopped by the 49ers defense. And the 49ers defense, I understand, is very, very good, but you're Tua. You've been throwing for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns a game. And except this time, you couldn't handle it. So I'm not worried about the Miami Dolphins. They're sort of on the brink of Super Bowl contention, maybe. They're definitely in playoff contention. They're obviously going to make it. I think they have like a 96% chance to make the playoffs. So I'm not worried about them when it comes to playoffs. Super Bowl is a little bit of a question mark. But this is seriously good news for Jimmy G and the 49ers, at least for this year. Kyle Shanahan can work with Brock Purdy because Kyle Shanahan's offense does not revolve around a QB to make all the plays. His offense has always been based around running the football, short yardage. All Kyle Shanahan really cares about is, are you accurate with throwing the football? And Jimmy G has completed about 68% of his passes. Not that many turnovers. He's having a great year this year. And the last thing Jimmy G needed was an injury. He was in prime position to actually get a contract with the 49ers because Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers just play better with him. I have the record, I think, still here between... It's in the other book I have here. I'm not going to go through it right now. But I think they're like, with this win, I believe they're like 11-30. 11-31 without Jimmy G, Kyle Shanahan is. And like they're 36-18 with Jimmy G. So it's a significant improvement with Jimmy G. So he was literally in prime position to get a contract extension. He's on a 1-year deal this year. Prime position to get a contract extension from 2023 potentially on. But it looks like now, when it comes to 2023 with Jimmy G, my guess would be they go with Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance. Those two have been teamed up right now. This was Trey Lance's team before he got that injury, which sidelined him for the entire year. Jimmy G comes in, plays pretty well, goes out, beats the Rams for, I think, the 8th time in the regular season, which is unbelievable. He's undefeated when it comes to versing the Rams in the regular season, which is incredible. But the Rams this year are a little bit of a question mark, so it's not really that surprising. But Jimmy G probably will not be on the 49ers next year because the last thing, he was already injury prone. That was the huge thing coming from the 49ers, and that's why they moved up to draft Trey Lance. It wasn't because he's not this mobile guy who could rush for 80 yards a game, or he doesn't throw a 65, 75-yard bomb to Deebo Samuel or George Kittle for a touchdown. That's not why they went out and tried to get Trey Lance. They got him because Jimmy G just isn't reliable when it comes to his health. Jimmy G goes out and gets hurt every other season, plays maybe 7 games here, plays 4 games here, and in this chance, he only played, 8 games this year? He goes out, gets hurt, and then you leave it up to Brock Purdy to come in. He did throw 2 touchdowns, threw over 200 yards. So they realize, I think, that, so this team right now has a lot of talent. Let's move on to Trey Lance and hopefully grow him. So this will be Trey Lance's team next year. I have no doubt in my mind that that's the case. Jimmy G will get picked up because the next topic we have here, Baker Mayfield just got picked up after being released by the Panthers today, which is ridiculous. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to go off on Baker Mayfield in the next topic, but Jimmy G will get picked up. I think there are several teams which Jimmy G will if Jimmy G gets released or traded or wherever he's going to go, because this is the last year of his contract. There are several teams which, if Jimmy G is on that team will improve at least from the quarterback position. I like Taylor Heineke, but I would choose Jimmy G over him. There was a trade in place to actually move Jimmy G to the Commanders earlier in the offseason, which I actually predicted a while ago. It just fell through. Right now, Atlanta would be better with him. Carolina. Even the Saints would be good with Jimmy G. The Seattle, that's a question mark because Geno Smith is having a phenomenal year this year. Arizona, no. Right now, the Rams, yeah, Jimmy G's better than Matt Stafford right now. Matt Stafford's hurt right now, but still, he's more accurate. At least he's more consistent than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford this year and last year, I had it on the top 10 going into this year. Matthew Stafford was consistently inconsistent. Jimmy G is usually consistently consistent when it comes to throwing the football. The Jets would be better with him. Honestly, the Patriots would be better with Jimmy G. Baltimore's dealing with injuries, but Lamar is out of this world right now. Cleveland would be good with him. Pittsburgh, between him and Kenny Pick'em I don't know. Tennessee, Jimmy G or Ryan Tannehill. I think Jimmy G is better than Ryan Tannehill. People say, he's below average. He's 16th, 17th best quarterback in the league. I have Jimmy G at around 13, 14. I have Ryan Tannehill barely above 20. So I'd say Tennessee would be better. Right now, the Colts, Jimmy G would be good on the Colts. Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence is really, really good with Doug Peterson, so I wouldn't even touch there. Houston, obviously. Houston has a mess of a quarterback situation. Denver, Russell Wilson's been terrible. The entire offense has been stagnant. You take a look at them. Their defense, any offense against that Rams team last week, think about it. They won 10-9. Any team with more than 4 brain cells on offense would have beaten that Ravens team handily. Thank God for the Denver defense. The Denver defense has done a phenomenal job all year, especially with the ability to not give up massive scores. They're the number 1 team in points allowed. The offense is just terrible. Russell Wilson. So I would take Jimmy G over Russell Wilson right now when it comes to the offense. The Giants. Daniel Jones has done great by dinking and dunking. It used to be Danny Dimes is his nickname. My nickname is Danny Dink and Dunk because that's all he does. And it's all the receivers getting downfield. He doesn't even take shots down the field. At least some quarterbacks that don't have a deep threat at least take the occasional shot down the field. Daniel Jones just does it, but that's not the offense. Brian Daboll has an offense that's molded around using the effectiveness of Daniel Jones when it comes to dinking and dunking. So that, Jimmy G, he's accurate. He's more accurate than Daniel Jones. He would be an upgrade. I honestly would compare. Dak Prescott has a slightly better arm and is more athletic, but that could be a serious comparison. Could Dallas be better with Jimmy G? Because Jimmy G is better than Cooper Rush, and Dallas was seeing a lot of great things from Cooper Rush and won a lot of games with Cooper Rush. So maybe Jimmy G fit in there. Jared Goff is better than Jared Goff. That offense is seriously explosive with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams in the backfield. So maybe. Yeah, honestly, maybe. And then Kirk Cousins. Hey, as long as it's a 1 p.m. game for Kirk Cousins, he's better than Jimmy G. But right now, once again, we have maybe 2-3 comparisons to where Jimmy G would thrive. It's just the question mark of, is that position actually available? And a lot of these teams, the answer would probably be no. But I don't think San Francisco retains Jimmy G because he's still valuable. He's still valuable. He's incredibly accurate. He's not mobile, but he's smart. And that's what Kyle Shanahan's offense revolves around. So he doesn't need to be that guy to go and throw for, 400 yards and, 4 touchdowns. No interceptions. He could throw for 190, 250, 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, and you could win by 15 points. Because that's how good Jimmy G is when it comes to being accurate and smart with the football. He's had some problems here with turnovers, and especially in the playoffs, hasn't played great. That team went up to Lambeau Field in Aaron Rodgers' house, 13-3. Devontae Adams, the best receiver in the league. Aaron Rodgers, lights out, back-to-back MVP. He beat him there. Really outperformed him. And Aaron Rodgers in cold weather, in freezing temperatures, his stats are incredible. He has 30 wins compared to 8 losses, which is insane. Jimmy G went up there and beat Aaron Rodgers, outperformed him. The first half, first quarter, Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they put up 80 yards. They drove down the field. And then Jimmy G came in, dink and dunk, and occasional shot down the field. Deebo Samuel got the job done. So, Jimmy G 2023 will not be a 49er. That's my prediction on that. Can the 49ers hold on long enough? With that defense and Brock Purdy, just being what Kyle Shanahan needs, a little bit of a dink and dunk here, the occasional deep shot, get it to your playmakers. Yeah, I think they could hold on long enough for Jimmy G's return. The question is, can Jimmy G actually return healthy enough to maintain the potential momentum that the 49ers might have going into playoffs? That's the huge question mark. That's the risk you're taking with Jimmy G. Let's move on to Baker Mayfield. I said I would go off on Baker Mayfield, and I will right now. So, Baker Mayfield asked to be released from the Carolina Panthers yesterday, and the Panthers honored his request, and we're going to waive him today. He did not clear waiver wire because the only team to make a claim on Baker Mayfield was the Los Angeles Rams. John Wolford got hurt. I believe he has a neck injury. Matt Stafford just got put on IR. This is what Baker Mayfield's come to. And look at Baker Mayfield. We have the picture here. Do we have it here? Let's see. That's the just bear with me for a second. Here we go. That's Baker Mayfield right now. Baker Mayfield. He's wearing number 17, which is incredible. He's gone away from 6. 6 was always his persona when it comes to his college number, and that's the number he wanted. So he's gone to number 17. That's interesting. He looks very awkward, and that's the picture we have in the topic bar here. He looks pretty awkward in the Rams blue and gold. I don't know, Baker Mayfield, but I'll ask the question: will Baker Mayfield show any signs of improvement in his third team in 2 years? My answer is no, because what I saw with the Panthers, I'm gonna see again with the Rams. Because Baker Mayfield started off, he won a playoff game, all in part thanks to the defense blowing up the Steelers at that time. But, that team went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, but then Mahomes got hurt in the fourth quarter, I believe, or in the second half, and then Caleb Haney came in and won the game, or Chase Haney, whatever his name is, ran for a 14-yard first down. The Browns defense couldn't stop him on that run. It was the 3rd and 14, gets the first down, game over. I think the score was 16-9. But Baker Mayfield won a playoff game. And then, he doesn't play well. He has a torn labrum and a hurt arm and another injury to his arm. He put out bad tape because he just didn't want to, sit and get that repaired because he wants to prove himself. I could do this without worrying about anything. So he goes out, performs terrible. I'm going to be honest. He performs terrible. The Browns say, we're going to go for Deshaun Watson. So they go out, get Deshaun Watson. Baker Mayfield asked to be released. He gets released, goes to the Panthers, he beats Sam Darnold out for the starting job. Plays really well in the fourth quarter in the first game against the Browns. Should have won that game. Should have won it because Jacoby Brissett had an intentional grounding sort of redacted because the ref just didn't know what's up. And on the previous play, there was a Brian Burns roughing the passer that just wasn't roughing the passer. But besides the point, he goes in the next couple weeks, doesn't perform very well. He's had one of the lowest QBRs since QBR has ever been recorded. I think it's 2006 when QBR was reported. ESPN, that's an ESPN stat. And there's been over I think it's 521 qualified quarterbacks since 2006 that have their QBR listed. Baker Mayfield is one above the bottom of the barrel when it comes to QBR. He's been that bad this year. He goes out. He loses to P.J. Walker. And then he has to be dragged back into the game against the Bengals after they go up 35-0 and P.J. Walker throws for 30%, which is insane. It got that bad. And he performs pretty well. He leads 2 touchdown drives. Those are beautiful. That first touchdown was beautiful. And then he sets him up for a potential to decrease the lead for the Bengals. Just can't get it done because they're too far ahead or whatever. But the Bengals didn't have their starters in. They were up by 35-0 at that half. So that's beside. I didn't read too much into that. And then Baker Mayfield, the team, there were rumbles in the team that they wanted Sam Darnold to get a chance. So Steve Wilks benches him this past week, or in the week against the Broncos. Benches Baker Mayfield. Doesn't even have Baker Mayfield dress, which that's very disrespectful, but Baker Mayfield deserved it. So Sam Darnold goes in, beats the Broncos. Everyone's happy. And then Baker Mayfield realizes, oh, I'm not going to get my job back. And in fact, Steve Wilks told me, don't even dress. You're not going to have a shot at playing another snap. So he has to be released. He gets released. The internet blows up. Baker Mayfield's terrible. Rams pick him up because they're desperate. Originally, this topic was before the news broke, will Baker Mayfield ever play another snap in the NFL? Well, the answer is now yes, because he'll probably be the starter for the Rams. The improvement, we're not going to see, because Baker Mayfield is what he is. He had the throughout, I think for the first 10 weeks, he got benched, I think week 5 or 6. Up to like week 10 or 11, he still had the most batted balls in the league. Because he's a short quarterback, and that's pretty easy to get your ball batted when you're a short quarterback. You're like, 5'10"? You guys are like 6'6". You're going to get your ball batted, and he did. Horrible completion percentage, horrible QBR, horrible passer rating. He's won one game, and it was thanks to the defense. So, Baker Mayfield goes out, and the problems are somewhat of the same. The Panthers don't have a great offensive line. The Rams don't have a great offensive line. The Panthers don't have a tremendous amount of talent on the wide. They have DJ Moore, and that's basically it. Shi Smith has a drop issue. He's had a drop issue all year. He had a sort of a fumble issue early on, but I think he resolved that. Your tight end isn't very good on the Panthers. He goes to a team where Tyler Higbee has decreased severely since last year. Allen Robinson can't get any separation, hasn't been really existing at all most of the year. Cooper Kupp's hurt. Your running game is the only savior, but your running game was second to last most of the year. You got rid of your running back one. Cam Akers goes in and performs okay. And Cam Akers had a problem with your team. So there's a chance. Baker Mayfield, the perfect opportunity for Baker Mayfield would have been to just perform with the Browns. You had a phenomenal offensive line. You had OBJ. Even if you didn't have OBJ, you had Jarvis Landry. Your tight ends were pretty good. David Njoku was really good. Your running game was basically the 1-2 combo between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. That was unmatched in the NFL. The closest thing will probably be Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. But even then, I would take Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt over A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. You gave that up because you can't perform. You decide to play while you were hurt. You get replaced, respectively. Deshaun Watson, he looked very rusty, and I said that. There's not a single offensive touchdown scored. It was field goals and defensive scores. That's how they won against the Texans, who they're 1-10-1. I got to see who they beat, because whoever they beat, that look is getting worse and worse. They beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 13-6. So, let's see. And it was just an inefficient game for, Trevor Lawrence just did not play well. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. But Baker Mayfield getting another shot, and that's not because because the team wants him. It's because the team actually needs him. So it's sad. Baker Mayfield is very, very lucky. We're now in an era of the NFL where, it's an offensive league, and Baker Mayfield is getting another shot. That is surprising. And it's not because the Rams have really other options. It's because they have no other option besides Baker Mayfield. So the Rams, I guess that this is it's a way of tanking without actually tanking, because you can't tank in professional sports. But Baker Mayfield will definitely show you that, you can tank without actually calling it tanking. I guess that's what the Dolphins should have done back in 2019. They went like 0-7 and were accused of tanking, $100K per loss. Should have just got Baker Mayfield on there and tanked. But if the Rams getting a high draft pick, they're going to be up there because they now have to go up against, for the number, let's say, top 4 pick, they're up against Chicago and Denver. Chicago's 3-10, Denver's 3-9. The Rams are now 3-9. Houston, they're going to get the number 1 pick. They're 1-10-1. I don't think anyone's touching that. So for Baker Mayfield, you're lucky. You're very, very, very lucky. Do I think you'll improve? No. You have an immaturity to you. Your game is not refined as much as it should right now. You're in year 5, so you gotta do something. You might be in year 4 actually. Year 4. I think he was drafted in 2018 or 2017. So yeah, it could be his 5th year. I was right the first time. Yeah, 5th year. So Baker Mayfield, you're lucky. That's all I have to say about that. Should we go to our next topic? Yeah, we're going to go to our next topic. We're talking about last night's game. Buccaneers defeat the Saints 17-16 on a tremendous late game drive for Tom Brady. Throughout 55 minutes of that game, the offense was dead. It was finished. Brady looked 45 years old. He looked human. And that offense, like most of the year, could not get going. So what happened? 55 minutes go by. The defense plays pretty well. The defense has been doing that a lot this year. There have been a couple blips where the defense just can't stop anybody. See the Chiefs game, but that's Patrick Mahomes. And then the defense against Andy Dalton and that team, they're not a horrible team. They're still in the running, but it's the NFC South, so that's not really saying much. But let's go. Actually, I have I think I have the game-winning drive and what led up to that. So let's get that going. So this is a crucial play. 2nd and 8. Andy Dalton rolls out, throws it to Mark Ingram, who doesn't get the first down. That is huge. And then on 3rd and 1, great defensive play by Carlton Davis, gives that up. So great play. And this is the offense. Tom Brady goes 2nd and 20, deep ball all the way to Mike Evans. Pass interference. Mike Evans has been doing that a lot this year. Pass interference calls, he gets those a lot. Not a tremendous amount of pass interference, a little bit, but Godwin in motion. Great block by Fournette to slow down Cam Jordan. Great throw to Cade Otton for the touchdown. Next defensive possession, 3rd and 17 after a Carl Nassif sack. Andy Dalton goes, a beautiful throw to Taysom Hill, but Keanu Neal blocks it out. You can't throw the ball much better than what Andy Dalton did. It was a beautiful throw. Keanu Neal just makes a game-saving play on 3rd and 17. A legal hit, head right to the ball to dislodge it. You took the wind out of Jamel Dean at that point. And then the ensuing possession, 3rd and 6 to Scotty Miller. Gets blown up after that, too. Great absorbed content. And then the greatest catch Julio Jones has made in a very, very long time. That's vintage Julio Jones right there. A sort of a poorly thrown ball by Tom Brady. Not in the right place. Julio Jones goes up, snags it. A tremendous catch from Julio Jones, which sets up a 1st and goal for the Bucs. And then you go up, 1st and goal. Brady throws it. Chris Godwin, that was a great throw. One of Brady's probably best throws all this game. But, oh, wait, there's a Donovan Smith hold on the left side, number 76. Wraps around the most penalized player in the league this season. Wraps him around. Most penalized player in the league. Goes up, holding call. So now you're 2nd and goal. You're back 10 yards. Chris Godwin can't stay in bounds. Tries to tightrope walk it. Just can't do it. So gets a couple yards. 3rd and goal. 8 seconds left. Brady throws it to Rachaad White, who reaches for it and gets the touchdown. A truly magnificent drive for the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. This was a tremendous game, but I still got question marks, severe question marks when it comes to the Bucs, because the Bucs defense has been pretty good all year. It's just the offense that's been brutally bad. They average about 18 points a game, which is almost dead last. I think the Broncos are the only team that's worse. Which, that's telling you. Tom Brady looks his age this year. It's not surprising at all what's happening. When it started up 19 points against the Cowboys, against that defense, that could have been a question mark. Oh, how good is the Cowboys defense? They turned out to be really, really good. And then as the season went on, you had a lot of question marks. They only have one game where they scored more than 23 points, and that was the blowout loss against the Chiefs, where the defense couldn't stop anybody, and most of that came in relatively garbage time. So my takeaway was that this does nothing for me. Tom Brady can still be clutch. He does tremendous in 2-minute drives. We saw it against the Packers. We saw it against the Rams. This does nothing for me. To me, this just shows what I've been seeing all year. The offense is stagnant until you have to speed up offense, 2-minute drives. Except the problem is 2-minute drives have always worked for Tom Brady this year. It's just you can't always do a 2-minute drive because your team will get gassed after, 1 or 2 drives of this. So I'm putting, I was going to say, because I was prime position by the end of the first half when it was like, a 13-3. I basically said, okay, they're done. They lose. I was happy because I was like, oh, snap, I actually called a Saints loss, or a Saints win, Brady loss. And I was going to be like, it's going to be a rough show. And then Brady comes back from behind, wins it. This is the second highest comeback in Tom Brady's career, including the postseason. The first was in the fourth quarter. The first was the Super Bowl 51 against the Falcons, 19 points, 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter. This one was 13 points. It was a great game. Tom Brady threw over 100, I think it was 140 yards in the fourth quarter, 2 touchdowns. He played bad through 3 quarters though. 3 quarters in 7 minutes. He played pretty badly. And then the last 5 minutes, you're down 13, you come back, you claw your way, your defense makes the stops that it needs to. Your defense performed very, very well. There's still a lot of question marks, though. The first one would be injuries and penalties. Donovan Smith is the most penalized player in the league, which is absurd. The offensive line has been moving pieces all year, so that's another question mark. Your wide receivers, some are in, some are out. Recently has been really good for you. Recently has been very, very good. Julio Jones seems healthy. Mike Evans took a pretty nasty hit to the back, knocked the wind out of him for a couple plays. Mike Evans always deals with an injury. Chris Godwin seems to slowly be coming back from that ACL injury. Not 100% there. He had a couple very, very nice catches, took a couple nasty hits. Scotty Miller, he's not that surprise factor that he was back in 2020 where, Brady came on the scene, throw 3 or 4 bombs to him. Some of them were featured in the playoff game, the NFC Championship game against the Packers. You had the Raiders game, the halftime bomb. So there's still question marks at that. Defense was also the surprising thing was the defense was out some of its top players. Sean Murphy Bunting, the cornerback, who was their cornerback, I want to say cornerback 2. I don't think Carlton Davis is all that, even though I think he's considered the cornerback 1. They're out there 2 starting safeties in Antoine Winfield Jr. and also in Mike Edwards, and they came out here, beat up Andy Dalton, which is not too surprising, although Andy Dalton has had his games. He's had a couple very, very nice games, but good for the Bucs. Good for the not so good for the Saints, but the Saints don't really get talked about because they're nowhere near prime position to do anything so far. And I think there's a chance this could be a one and done for Dennis Allen, because at least with Josh McDaniels, you see some improvement. You see him being involved. You could see some of the aspects because we only really saw it with the Patriots with Tom Brady, but there was a flea flicker in the last Raiders game, a bomb to Devontae Adams. So, Josh McDaniels getting involved. Dennis Allen with that defense, the defense does not look great. It's had its moments, and then the offense is just terrible. The offense is finding a quarterback. Alvin Kamara isn't what he used to be. Michael Thomas is hurt, can't seem to get healthy. Chris Olave, he's doing okay, but there's a lot of question marks. But coming up next, we'll be reacting to all of the MLB offseason moves that happened over the past couple of days, our Week 13 recap, and our Thursday night football picks between the Raiders and the Rams right after the break.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and I am being joined by my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, but I'm sorry I'm late. I couldn't be here for the first part, and I missed some of these great topics.
We might be able to loop around towards the end of the end of the show.
I just want to say I'm disappointed Jimmy G got hurt because I wanted to see him against Brady, and now we won't see it.
Right.
That's a bummer.
But there is a chance if they meet in the playoffs, Jimmy G will be back. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's not hurt that badly.
He does not need surgery on his foot, so he can return in the middle of the playoffs.
What kind of injury was it?
It was a broken foot.
It's broken?
That was the report. Broken foot. But let's jump into it. We don't talk a lot of baseball, but there's a lot of moves that happen right now. A lot of substantial players on the move. The first one I want to start off with is actually Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom, who is a two-time Cy Young winner, is taking his talents all the way to with the Texas Rangers. 5 years, $185 million for the aging and generally injured superstar. So how would you grade deGrom's move to the Texas Rangers?
How old is he?
I think he's actually like 35.
Is he that old?
He's very. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now, but he's up there in age. He is 34 and 170 days. So 34 and a half.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
about.
I'm surprised the Mets didn't match that offer.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he came up through the Mets. And he's been great for them. And, he has had his injury issues, that's for sure, right?
Right.
But 5 years, $185 million, he's still, look at Verlander. He got 2 years, $86 million.
Yeah.
Right? So you take Verlander's deal, two divide, that's $43 million a year, right? Times 5 is more than 200, well more than 200, so 5 years at 185 for a guy who's a lot younger.
Right.
Seems like, I'm surprised the Mets didn't match it. I think it's a pretty good deal for Texas, actually.
Yeah. So let's move on to Justin Verlander's deal. 2 years, $86 million. He's reunited now with Max Scherzer. They were on the Detroit Tigers back in the early 2000s. Here's some of their combined stats. Combined Cy Youngs, 6. Combined strikeouts, 6,391. They're Verlander's 12th, Scherzer's 13th on the all-time list. They had 5 seasons together, 2010 to 2014 on the Tigers. They have 3 World Series in total, but 0 on the same team. Verlander has 2 rings, 2017 Astros, and now last year, 2022 Astros. And then Scherzer won one with the 2019 Nationals. Both these players are tremendous. 2 years, $86 million. Verlander's going to be 40 years old. But he just came off a tremendous year.
Scherzer's pretty old, too.
Scherzer's up there, yes, as well. Scherzer is 36 years old.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I think he's
38 years old.
38 years old, yeah.
He went 11-5, 2.29 ERA. Verlander went 18-4 with a 1.75 ERA.
That was a magnificent year for him.
It was a phenomenal year.
I mean, that guy he's got a rubber arm. I mean, he's going to be 40 years old. At 39, he won the Cy Young.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has anybody ever won it that's been that old?
This was coming off a retirement year, too, because he retired last year. We didn't even play in 2021. And, yes, I believe...
Oh, he retired?
Last year he retired, yeah.
And then he came back.
The oldest, there were a couple people there are 3 people older than Justin Verlander. Early Wynn, 39 years, 267 days old. Gaylord Perry, 40 years. And Roger Clemens in 2004 for Houston, 42 years old.
Wow.
So he's number 4 on that list, though.
Yeah.
Of the oldest. So on a letter scale, first of all, let's do letter scale. Move DeGrom to Rangers.
I think that's a good deal for it's a good deal for the Mets.
Okay.
I think based on the year he had this past year, I think there's a good chance he'll pitch well.
Right.
Right, and being really reunited with Scherzer is a good chemistry thing. Right, they pitched well when they were on the same team, so I think that's a good deal. It's too bad they lost to Grom.
Yeah.
You know?
So letter scale for DeGrom and Verlander. How would you grade those picks? A to F.
I'd say the letter grade for the player or for the team.
For the pickup. Yeah, I guess for the team then.
For the team, I give an A for both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Trey Turner, 11 years, $300 million to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Wow.
Well, what's your reaction? How would you grade that?
I didn't think is he that great a player?
He's the top 3 shortstop in the league, definitely.
Yeah.
Top 3.
What's his batting average last year?
He's a very, very good defensive shortstop. His batting average last year.
There's some good defensive shortstops out there.
He's up there. 298 last year. 21 home runs.
298, 21.
100 RBIs.
Yeah. Well, Xander Bogaerts probably not staying with the Red Sox now.
And that means Devers is going to...
That could be a problem, too.
It's going to be prickly. Definitely.
But Xander Bogaerts wouldn't get 11 years. How old is Trey Turner?
29 years old.
29.
So,
and Bogaerts is 32 or 3, I think.
He's really that old now? He's 30.
30. So he'll be looking for a deal like this, too. Something like that. 10 years, 275 or something like
that. Could be.
I don't think the Red Sox will shell that out for him.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough.
I think they overpaid a little bit.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
My letter.
It's a long deal.
It's a very long deal.
It might be better to go shorter with a little bit more money per year and to tie it up for 11 years.
Maybe.
The guy's going to be 40 years old when the contract ends. Do you see him playing shortstop at 40 years old?
Maybe. Yeah. So what would you letter grade this to move to the Phillies?
I give that a B minus.
Okay. For me, DeGrom, that gets. I'm gonna give that a B plus. I mean, DeGrom right now, injury. I think for the Rangers, it's a huge question mark because DeGrom's health over the past couple years, not great. But when he plays, he generally does very well. So I'm not gonna put him in an A category, due to his injury. Verlander, I give that an A minus. It's not an A or an A plus strictly because of his age. He's going 39 years old. Can he maintain this? That's the big question mark. The chemistry, I agree with you. The chemistry is a huge thing. It's just, can he maintain the greatness he's had over the past couple of years? Actually, over his whole career, really. And then Trey Turner, I give an A plus. Because now, with Bryce Harper healthy, the Phillies have Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, Nick Castellanos, and a few other players that are just like, this team is very, very good. The Phillies needed this very good shortstop. That was one of their huge holes in their team, was the shortstop position. And Trey Turner being a really good defensive shortstop, this is a phenomenal move. This is an A plus for me. Some of the other moves that I haven't highlighted are Cody Bellinger signed a deal with the Cubs. I'm trying to find the deal here. A 1-year contract, $17.5 million. You have Clayton Kershaw going back.
He hasn't played very well.
Yeah, last year.
Bellinger.
Last year he did not play very well at all.
And before that, the year before that, I don't think he was so great either.
Right.
Yeah. He's been on a kind of a downturn.
Right. And then you also had Clayton Kershaw, 1 year, $20 million, going back to the Dodgers. And then you have.
Why would you think? Wouldn't you think he'd get more than 1 year?
He's up there in age. He's pretty old.
Well,
and there were
compared to Justin Verlander.
Oh, compared to him,
Yeah, how old is?
He's 34.
34 years old. He only got a 1 year deal.
There
That's
were
ridiculous. I would have thought the Red Sox should have gone after him.
with
Right?
what
Clayton
money?
Kershaw is
They're
a great
stingy.
pitcher.
No, he is. Yes.
Why would he agree for 1 year for $20 million? That's
I don't
weird.
know.
I don't understand it.
I don't know. And then Aaron Judge. It looks like the San Francisco Giants are picking up pace to get him over there. Judge was not happy when the Yankees revealed the extension deal. When Cashman came out publicly and said Judge denied a 7-year deal, $213.5 million contract to stay. And it looks like the report is the Giants are looking at $360 million. The years, that's the big question mark. My guess would be probably for 7-8 years. I don't see a double-digit year here because Judge is up there in age. So 7 years, $360 million, that is a lot of money. Over 50, I think it's over $50 million a year, which that's absurd. The Yankees will have a tough time matching that.
I don't think they should.
I mean,
$50 million a year for 7 years?
he just hit 64 home runs. He had 57 a little bit earlier in his career as well. So, how much are you willing to spend on a guy like that?
How many years do you think he's going to be able to do that? Though?
My guess would be
not a youngster.
Well, obviously, he's not a youngster. He's like, what, 33, 4 years old? So he's up there. So my guess would probably be 7-8 years. So $53 million, give or take.
Yeah.
It's the question mark of will he actually play that?
Well,
and then
if they win 2 World Series while he's there,
it's going to be worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also
it's going to be a big hit to the Yankees, though, losing him.
Yeah, a big signing for the Guardians. They signed Josh Bell, a tremendous infielder, first baseman. 2 years, $33 million, which is, hey, it's a lot of money. But Josh Bell, he was high in
Didn't
demand.
he play for the Nationals, and then he went to the Padres, and then, or is that the right Bell? Am I thinking the right
Yeah,
guy?
he played for the Padres last year.
Yeah. And then he's a free agent. Now he's signed with who?
Signed with the Guardians. It's a very,
That's a
very
good
good
pickup for them.
He was high in demand in the
He's a first
trade
baseman,
deadline.
right?
Yeah, first baseman, yeah. So now they have infielders like Rosario, Jose Ramirez, then they have Josh Bell. Your second baseman I'm not familiar with, but
He's good, though, that guy.
No,
he made the All-Star team, I think, this year.
No, he's a very, very good hitter. He hits about 270, so it's pretty good. But there's a lot of moves happening right now, and it's only going to pick up from here.
I think the Guardians will be hard to beat. They have good pitching, and
Right.
they made the playoffs. They gave the Yankees a run for their money.
Right.
Right, so they should be optimistic, I think. Terry Francona was the manager of the year. So, yeah.
The Rangers seem to be going all in for when it comes to pretty good pitchers because they also signed left-handed starting pitcher Andrew Heaney on a 2-year, $25 million deal that could escalate to $37 million. I'm trying to get here. He 4-4, 3.10 ERA. So the win-loss is not great, but the ERA is not too bad. 3.10. It's a respectable ERA.
That's a good ERA.
Yeah.
And the way the pitching goes these days, an ERA under 3.5 is great.
It's actually the best ERA of his career. He played for teams like the Yankees. He was there for 1 year with the Yankees. He had a 7.32 ERA in 4 games. Played most of his career with the Angels. He averaged an ERA of 4.51. So this year with the Dodgers was a very, very good year for him, a career year for him.
Might be an anomaly.
Could be.
Yeah.
Very well could be. So
how about the Red Sox? Have they picked up anybody besides Ref Schneider? Gave him a 1-year deal
hey,
for $1 million, I think.
let's see. Free agents. According to MLBTradeRumors.com, no progress when it comes to Xander Bogaerts.
Yeah.
This was written today as of 4:50.
They should have got it done
Central
before Trey
Time.
Turner got an 11-year, $300 million deal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
Colton Wong seems to be heading back to the Red Sox.
Yeah, big deal.
There's some interest there. The Chris Cotleo reported he's a writer for MassLive.com. He reported that the Red Sox were meeting with Christian Vasquez's agents, probably to bring him back.
I was going to ask about Christian Vasquez.
Yeah. There were a couple other catchers they were interviewing. Reese McGuire and Colton Wong.
I would
Connor
say if
Wong.
they don't bring back Vasquez, then Bogarts is definitely gone, because
Probably.
Bogarts and Vasquez are friends, and Bogarts was upset that they traded Vasquez to the Astros. Now, Vasquez, on the other hand, probably pretty happy,
Yeah.
right? Because he won a World Series,
Right.
and he got that money. They get pretty good money winning the World Series, right?
Yeah.
How many World Series has Vasquez got now? He's got you got 2 with the Red Sox or one? One with the Red Sox and one with the Astros?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good. A lot of players don't have 2 World Series rings.
Right. The Red Sox were also interested in Andrew Heaney, who just got picked up by the Rangers. There was some interest there. Wilson Contreras, who's a pretty good catcher, no information there. It looks like the Devers contract, because there was a report that Devers, if Bogarts does not get re-signed, there is a decent chance Devers does not sign a contract and moves on off them. So the Red Sox need to put a lot of money into their players that they have right now. It's just a question mark of will they? I don't know. There seems to be a lot
They
of
should,
movement
given the
going on.
team they fielded last year. Boy, they had some horrible games.
Right.
They really getting these reclamation projects out there and trying to see if they can recapture some of their glory. It didn't work. It did not work. Jerry's Familia is a very good example of it. He could not throw a strike. They just didn't. And having what's his name, Jaron Duran in center field all that time and making all those mistakes and hitting 230. It just that was, I don't know what they were thinking. It was a very disappointing year. They need to do something for the fans there.
I guarantee you this won't happen, but the report is the Red Sox have been in contact with a lot of people, including Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
And they will not sacrifice $365 million in
don't
order to
think
beat
so
out
either.
anybody. It would be,
How
it
about
would be a great
J.D.
pickup,
Martinez? Is he signed with anybody yet?
No. I think it might be a little while before he gets picked up by anybody. But there's a lot of moves the Red Sox still need to make.
They need some hitting. They didn't hit any home runs
They
last
need
year.
pitching. That's what they need.
No, they need everything. They need
pitching.
both. The defense wasn't, well, it was better in the second half, but it was pretty lousy in the beginning.
Right. Let's move on to the next topic, which is our Week 13 recap. It was not that bad of a week. Let's get into it right now. By the way, Baker Mayfield to the Rams. I don't know if you saw that.
He went to the Rams, huh?
Yeah. He's wearing number 17. That's the picture the Rams posted on Twitter. That's your new Baker Mayfield right now. So let's get into it.
Right?
Sorry about that.
They must have photoshopped that.
No,
he was out there and put a uniform on.
I believe so. Yeah. So let's jump right into the picks. You get the big start here.
So that must be Matthew Stafford is hurt.
Yeah, he's on IR right now. He's on IR.
Pretty badly hurt, huh?
And John Wolford, I believe has a neck injury. So take it away with your Week 13 recap.
Yeah, well, I lost the Patriots Bills game, which was very disappointing. And the Washington against New York, a tie. Come on, that was. I thought Washington got energized there in the fourth quarter. They were moving it down the field, and then suddenly they stalled out. They could have won that game. So, a tie. So neither a win or a loss. And then the Ravens, I got that right, but Lamar got hurt, right? How badly is he hurt?
1 to 3 weeks.
Really? Well, don't they have a decent backup, though? That guy is not so bad.
Hundley, yeah.
Yeah.
He was in there last year.
He's a lot like Lamar in terms of his style of play, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then, I thought that the Pittsburgh, they're playing better. The Kenny Pickett is he's starting to get the hang of it. And I knew this was going to be close. I think I said it would be. And Pittsburgh beat him. Yeah. So who did Pittsburgh play next week? This week?
I should have had this up. Let's see. Steelers play the Ravens this week.
The Ravens. They could win that game.
Potentially.
Yeah, I might pick them. We'll see what the point spread's going to be there. Then the Vikings. You were right about Vikings at the beginning of the year, right? They're 10-2, right?
Yeah.
They're only one game back of the first seed. So they look pretty good. I don't think they've had the toughest schedule, but they look really good. The Eagles are ahead of them by one game. We'll see what happens. I knew they were going to beat the Jets. And by the way, Mike White threw 2 interceptions in that game. No touchdowns. He did throw for 360 some odd yards, though, right? But so did Zach Wilson, the back against the Patriots. He threw for 300 yards, but had 3 interceptions.
Right.
So, and I think he had a touchdown pass in that game. So, I don't know about Mike White. As I said, you need a bigger sample size to make a judgment about him. And so far, he's had 2 good games and 3 stinkers, right?
Yeah.
As starter. So, we'll see. I wouldn't.
They play the Bills this week.
They play the Bills. Now, that's a tough game. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Joe Flacco before the end of the year.
That's
could wind up back out there. Okay, the Browns. I had them beating the Texans, and Deshaun Watson was back in there. He looked really rusty. He didn't have a great game, but they won. They got the point spread right on that too. That was good. The Lions. They're an interesting team now, huh?
Yeah.
They could still sneak in there, right? I mean, they're still in the hunt a little bit, right? What have they won 5 games now?
They're 5-7.
5-7.
So
they got to win out.
They're gonna have to win out.
They have to be 10-7 to get in the playoffs, I'm sure. So I don't know. They have no defense. That's their problem. They got a good offense, no defense. I don't know about Jacksonville. They played really well last week, right? And you would think against what
the Ravens
was a tougher team, right? You would think. And they couldn't beat the Lions. Oh well. Didn't get the point spread right either. Okay, Green Bay finally won a game. But Chicago, they can't help themselves now. Recently, they've been terrible.
Yeah.
Right? And Green Bay, they're out. I think they're out of it, right? They've only won 5 games.
5 games.
Yeah. So be tough for them to get back in it. They've probably got some tough games left to play. They have to play the Vikings again, or have they played them twice?
They play them again.
They play them again. They probably won't win that game. So I think they're done. But they happened to get this one right. That was good. They got the Eagles right. The Eagles only lost 1 game. Be interesting to see how they do in the playoffs, right? Because they did lousy last year. They didn't play well at all. And but they were up against the Bucs, and the Bucs defense was quite good last year. Not as good this year, but we'll see. I think the Eagles have a good chance to go very deep in the playoffs. The poor Titans. They've lost a couple now, right? Recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got destroyed, actually, by the Eagles.
It's like 35-10, I think.
Yeah. So, I don't know. The Titans, I think they'll make the playoffs, but they don't look as tough as they did. Poor Derrick Henry, he's not getting any yards, right? They managed to control him. So, they got to get him going if they think they're going to go anywhere. Okay, I missed on the point spread with Seattle, but they beat the Rams. I thought that was possible. And they're still a playoff team, but the last seed right now. So they better pick it up. But now the 49ers are without the 2 quarterbacks that they started the year with. And this guy, what's his name?
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. He had a pretty good game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they play the Bucs next week. I think I'll probably pick them. I'm not sure Brady. Well, Brady will be going up against San Francisco. He'll have some extra juice for that game.
I think if it was Jimmy G, he'd have extra juice.
Yeah, I'm sorry that they're not going to play one another. That's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't think
see.
so. I don't think so.
Okay. I thought for sure Kansas City would beat the Bengals. You had this one right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get the point spread either.
Sorry.
So, Bengals looking tougher now, right?
Yeah.
It's coming down near going into the home stretch here. They seem to be playing very well. So, they're first in the division now.
No, they're still tied with the Ravens because the Ravens also won.
Oh, okay. Well,
The Ravens had the half game.
Ravens
up
and Bengals have one more game against each other.
I'm not too sure. I'll check that, but the Ravens do have the half game up because they beat them earlier. Last week.
Yeah.
So it could come down to that last game maybe if Hundley performs.
Okay. I thought that the Chargers
Raiders.
would beat the Raiders. I guess the Raiders are playing a little better nowadays, huh?
They're fighting for their lives.
Yeah. They've only won 4 games, right?
Is this their fifth win? Fifth win.
Fifth win. Yeah. And the Chargers, what is their record now? 500?
They are 6-6.
Yeah. So they're a disappointment, I would say. I thought they'd be tougher than this. They went out and got those defensive players. Khalil Mack,
Yeah.
right? Joey Bosa,
Yep.
right?
Had him.
Come on.
J.C. Jackson was hurt,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he didn't
got
play
hurt.
well when he was in there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd say the Chargers coach is in danger of losing his job here if they don't make the playoffs with that team. Okay. I finally got it right. The Colts against the Cowboys, right? And they even covered the spread to help me out there, too. So that was good.
That was
Cowboys
that was
look
an interesting
tough.
game.
They have the 3rd best record in the NFC.
They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. 33.
Wow.
A lot of fumbles, a couple interceptions. It's a pretty bad game for the Colts. Get the competitive.
And the Bucks, what a win. Wow. 8 seconds left.
Yeah.
Touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Brady marched them right up and down the field there the last 2 drives. It was really very impressive. He was very happy at the end of the game,
Right.
and rightfully so. But he's got a tough game next week
He does.
against San Francisco. I guess they'd be happy that they're playing against a rookie quarterback, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. They might get torched.
The Saints, I think, I don't know, Andy Dalton, they like Andy Dalton down there. They let him play every game.
Yeah.
I don't like Jameis Winston.
Maybe.
I don't know why they don't let him start now that they only won 4 games, right? They're 4-9 now.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're done. Why would they stick with a journeyman quarterback?
I don't know.
I don't understand it.
It's a good question.
So my record though is pretty good for this week.
Yeah, let's
I'm
back it up.
95-76 now.
I had to decrease one of our losses because week 1 Texans Colts, I put an X over that, like we both lost it. Should have been a tie, so that's why we now have 2 ties next to win losses.
2 ties.
So
The spread, I'm still 10 games under.
they didn't have a good game when it comes to the spread, but
Yeah,
it's Baker
I
Mayfield.
don't know how to pick the spread very well.
Let's go. Let's
I need to
go with
work
my
on that.
picks. Let's go with my
Okay.
picks. Let's begin with the first one. Obviously, Bills. I knew they'd beat the Patriots. It was pretty easy for them to beat it. Next one, Commanders. First half was great for the Commanders. You're up 13. I believe nothing. Giants come back, go up 20-13. You come back, a beautiful catch and run for the Commanders with about a minute and a half remaining. Go out, tie the game, and in overtime, both teams looked horrible. No surprise there. But there is hope because they're going to play on Sunday Night Football in Week 15. This is the rematch. They got flexed into Sunday Night Football. I believe the Patriots were actually supposed to be that Sunday night game. Patriots, who are they playing that week? It might have been the Cardinals, or I think they play the Cardinals this week. But the Patriots were actually supposed to have that game, and they got flexed out. It was supposed to be Patriots Raiders. That's getting flexed out, I believe, and replaced with the Giants Commanders game. So that's gonna be interesting. But I think the Commanders are a better team than the Giants. We'll have to see. Next one, the Ravens offense has not looked good in the past 4 weeks. I've said this. The Ravens just have something weird going on offense. Lamar's performing well. He got hurt in this game. Huntley needs to come in. We'll see how he performs. He was there week 12 last year when Lamar got hurt. They went, I believe, 8-9, 8-8 last year. So we'll see. We'll see how they perform. The Broncos defense, that's the only saving grace of that team. Russell Wilson is god-awful. Next one, Falcons, Steelers. Hey, Kenny Pick'em apart is doing pretty well. They won 19-16. Not a tremendous high-scoring game by any means. But
the Falcons games have been very high-scoring,
not,
right?
No, not many of
They
them.
must have a decent defense.
It's nothing spectacular. They
Well,
are rated
most of their games are pretty close, and they're low-scoring.
23 for rushing defense, 26 for passing defense. So
Yeah.
not that
No,
good.
It's not that good.
200 yards passing, 1 touchdown for Kenny Pickett, no interceptions. That's the big thing right there. No interceptions. Marcus Mariota, 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So Kenny Pickett is slowly coming into becoming a decent quarterback. Next one, Vikings, Jets. Thank God for a drop pass by Braxton Berrios at the very end of that game. Mike White did not play very well. And now he's going up against the Bills this week. A lot of people are picking the Jets to come out and surprise the Bills again. We'll have to see.
I don't think that's going to happen.
We'll have to wait and see. But Vikings do get the win here. They got lucky. They got very lucky in that game. Deshaun Watson's return. The Cleveland Clowns, they did not score a single offensive touchdown in the entire game. This was defense and I believe 1 field goal. Deshaun Watson, I said there'd be some rust there, and there was. There was a lot of rust. Any competent team would have ripped this Browns team to shreds, but they couldn't. Next one, the Lions. I said, going into this week, the Lions have an explosive offense. Could I see it this week? Yeah, I could, and, well, they exploded against the Jaguars. They played very, very well. Good win for the Lions. Good win for Dan Campbell. Good win for Jared Goff. Next one, the Bears kept it close until the second half, especially the fourth quarter. The Packers decided in the fourth quarter to actually perform like Aaron Rodgers and like the Packers. In that fourth quarter, I'm bringing it up right now. In the fourth quarter, the Bears got shut out 18-0. It was 28-19. So you take 18 away, that means the Bears were up 19-10 through 3 quarters and just couldn't seal the deal. Justin Fields had 2 very costly interceptions late in the game to seal the win for the Packers. Next one. Titans, Eagles. It was a rough day. Treylon Burks got hurt after having a tremendous touchdown catch. And once he's gone, your offensive playmakers go down severely because you don't really have another great talent. Derrick Henry, for some reason, can't get it going this year. So look out for the Titans, I guess. They're still a really good coach team. They just got blown out by the Eagles. The Eagles are looking really, really good at 11-1. Seahawks, Rams. This game should not have been close. The Seahawks should have covered the -7 spread, but Geno Smith did not have a great game. Had some costly turnovers in that game. The Rams, they played their heart out though. They played pretty well. They did not seem like a team that should just be left on the curb. They actually made it. You know, they had a chance to win this game and pulled it. And the Seahawks pulled away on a late game touchdown to DK Metcalf. Next one. Jimmy G got hurt in this game against the Dolphins. He bring in Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, and he tore up the Dolphins defense. And Tua had he played horrible. Could not.
Tua played horrible.
He played horrible. Several turnovers. Couldn't get the offense going. I'm not saying he got exposed in this game. He just didn't play very well. Next one. I told you the Bengals will win. The Bengals have won 3 straight against Patrick Mahomes, outplaying them each of the game, especially in the second half. The Bengals know what's up. The Bengals know how to make adjustments in the second half and how to beat Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes does not look like Patrick Mahomes in many of these games against the Bengals.
He has tough luck against the Bengals.
Yeah. So I knew it. Joe Burrow going in a rematch of the AFC Championship game. Turns out to be the same outcome. Bengals get the win. Next one. The Raiders are fighting for their lives here. The Raiders offense looked alive. Devontae Adams had over 170 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, I believe. Derek Carr played pretty well in that game. The defense had a couple very, very crucial defensive plays, a couple sacks. They look really good right now. I'm not saying they're coming anywhere near close to making the playoffs, but a little bit more respect for Josh McDaniels going into next year. Maybe they can get someone going next year. Just this year's not their year. The Colts. This game was very competitive until the fourth quarter where they gave up 33 unanswered points. Some teams have trouble scoring 33 points in a game, let alone having 33 points in a quarter. That's what Dallas did. This defense is legit. I think that if they're not in the Super Bowl bubble, they're touching it. They're slightly touching it. And I think the offense could be improved a little bit. That defense is tremendous, though. Defense is top 3 in the league, probably top 2 in the league. So Cowboys get the big win. And it came down to 8 seconds, but through 59 minutes and 52 seconds, I was right. The Saints are going to go up and win in Tampa. At Saints. And
As
then
Belichick says, it's a 60-minute game. You got to play every second of it.
Right. And then, it just decided, Tom Brady turned back into Tom Brady. Have two 2-minute drives to win the game. So that's what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady came out, won the game, late game drive.
This year is looking better and better now in terms of his stats, I would think. Right?
Yeah.
He threw the ball a lot last night, right?
Yeah, he threw it 54 times, I think.
Yeah, their running game was not great last night, right?
No. But let's get into it. We're gonna make our final picks here. We're gonna do Thursday night football. Raiders at Rams, a -5.5 spread according to Fox Bet Sportsbook. There's a chance, a very low chance, but Baker Mayfield may start in this game.
Yeah.
Early in the week, they picked him up. He has 2 days before the game.
That's pretty hard
really
to
a day.
learn an offense in 2 days.
The basic plays,
Yeah.
Slant here, drag here, out route, dish. But who takes the win? Who wins? Who covers?
I think the Raiders will probably beat them.
You say 5.5 point spread? They cover that? They would need to win by 6 or more.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So you're
I
saying
think it's gonna be a
Raiders
close
plus
game.
5? Ooh, interesting.
I think it'll be close.
Raiders
I think the
win, Rams plus
have a
5.5.
decent. They have a decent defense. It's not great, but they have a decent defense, and the Raiders have been pretty inconsistent this year.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going Raiders all the way. I'm going to say Raiders win
the
and
point
cover.
spread.
And cover. So I believe that does wrap it up for us at the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We'll catch you guys Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube.
Bye-bye.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch.
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.